Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Living with Us. I am Kamunde, and we are at Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club. Now, I've got a lady who has completely changed the game, broken boundaries. And when I said it before, she was like, "Oh, is it really?" And I was like, "Are you kidding? First African to hold this title. It's a huge deal." So obviously, she's, despite being very well achieved, she's also very humble. Her name is Emily Kamunde Osoro, and she is the ICF Global Director. That's International Coach Federation, and she's the first African to hold that title. It's a big deal.
All right.
It's no, but sure, you know it's a
Sure.
big. Do you feel like it's a big deal?
It is. Initially, I did, and I think it's a title. It's just a title, but I think it's quite an honor to really serve on the board at that level.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, I think it's, again, it's showing people that there is something, you being able to sit and hold that title is showing other girls, other Africans that, yeah, that I do have a place there. That could be what I strive for.
I think so,
Yeah.
and that we have what it takes, to be honest. I think we just need to stretch ourselves a bit more and then put ourselves out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, Emily, I'm curious about your childhood. Tell me, were you what kind of childhood did you have? How would you describe it?
I grew up in the village.
Okay.
My
Where exactly?
I was born in Meru.
Hi, Meru.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a village called Amato village,
Okay.
and I went to school there in primary. And then I moved to Nairobi. My father was a civil servant, and so we moved to Nairobi when I was in class 4. I went to Uhuru Primary School in Eastlands. Yes, and then I did my high school at Pangani Girls.
Yeah.
And went for my degree at Moi University.
Okay.
And my MBA at Nairobi.
Okay. Okay. So, did school excite you? Were you sporty? Were you competitive?
I wasn't. My sister was competitive. I wasn't competitive, but I was that one of those serious kids. I took school seriously.
When you say that, were you striving to be number 1 in class, or?
Yes, because I think my parents always pushed for that, and so we stretched quite a bit. Of course, back in the village, I was tops until I came to the town center and kept working hard. And I was an average student, I would say, but I always managed to get myself top 10s.
Okay.
I tried.
Yeah, and what was that transition like for you, moving from Meru to Nairobi?
Oh, you don't want to know. I I only spoke Meru.
Really?
Oh yes, and they taught us in Meru,
Okay.
and we didn't quite have a lot of books. We would write on the soil, use the soil to write and
Oh, wow.
everything. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it was a big transition. Came to Nairobi, couldn't speak Swahili, so we had to kind of stay close to the fence and hear what other kids are saying. When they said sasa, you listen.
How was that in school then? Because in school, of course, you're being taught in Kiswahili at the very least, maybe English, but for sure, Meru was not an option.
It was easier, I think, to understand Swahili
Okay.
slowly,
Okay.
and I think kids catch up really quickly. I was bullied quite a bit. I think I even had this teacher who really used to laugh her head off because she would tell me one thing and I would do the opposite because I was trying to translate Meru to Swahili and English, and but it took just about a year and I was able to catch up.
Wow. And I mean, I can imagine it ultimately goes towards building your character and preparing you for roles like, First African, ICF Global Director. So what did you study in uni?
I studied tourism management. Yes, tourism management.
Okay. And you did your MBA, you said?
Yes, I did my MBA in human resources. I was basically inspired by that because I worked for an organization earlier on as the PA to the managing director, and I was kind of feeling like I'm losing track. What career should I follow? And so I spoke to a few people and said, you know what, I'm going to take up HR because in that organization they actually didn't have a HR function. So that's inspired me. I went to do my MBA and I specialized in human resources with the hope that I would, go into that profession.
And is that growing up, is that what you wanted to be when you were younger? Did you feel like you were moving in in that direction?
I think when you're young, we never really know what we want. It's really about what our parents say we should do.
Okay.
But by the time I was finishing my high school, I was very clear that, you know what, I'm not a sciences person, I'm not a technical person. I just wanted more the social sciences. So I really enjoyed tourism. You know, because then I was, you know, you can work in any service industry, so to speak. So I ended up, you know, working first in Kenya Airways.
Oh,
Yes,
that was your first job?
That was my first job,
Okay.
but, you know, in customer service
Okay.
for about 2 years. And then I went, you know, to this organization called Syngenta,
Okay.
where I did the admin job for about a year or so, and then transitioned into HR. So you asked a question of whether this is what I ever wanted to do. I wouldn't have thought about it, but the moment I actually started this out, I never looked back. I think I have transformed myself and a lot of people. I have enjoyed this role so much. And I guess that's how I also landed into coaching through human resources,
Okay,
which
yeah.
I've done for 14 years now.
Okay, so tell me about that. What was your first introduction into coaching? And had you heard about it before? And did it feel like a natural transition for you?
I hadn't heard about it before, actually. It goes back to my first boss in this company called Syngenta, who was the MD in the organization at the time. As part of the development programs we had, at one time he sent me to Switzerland. I think that was in 2008, to do a professional basic coaching course. So that was my first interaction with it. And as I grew in the profession of HR, came back to the organization, I developed a program for managers that incorporated coaching. And in that sense, I continued to advance my skills in coaching at that time. Come 2015, around there, 2014, I saw an advert on the newspaper. I think it was by the Institute of Human Resource Management and a company in the UK that was offering a professional coaching course. And it was actually being held here in Windsor.
Oh.
Yes. We had an 8-day course.
2014, okay.
Yes,
8-day
in 2014.
course,
Yes, it was an
okay.
8-day program, about 72 hours of learning.
Wow, okay.
So that's when I got certified as a professional coach.
As a professional. So what is a professional coach?
Right. According to ICF standards, any coach has to at least have experienced training at a minimum of 60 hours. So the International Coach Federation does not train, but it accredits organizations to offer coaching. And in fact, the ICF membership includes only individuals who've been trained at that particular level. They have a minimum of 60 hours of training.
Okay. So but if you were to explain what a coach does, because coach in the colloquial, I mean, if I start to think about it on a basic level, I think sports or something of the sort, but you're a professional coach. A professional coach does what?
Right. In layman's language,
Yeah.
a professional coach will help you discover yourself,
Okay.
raise your self-awareness, build confidence, and really push you to work onto your actions, on your goals as an individual, be it at a personal level or at the organizational level. Maybe you have a challenge that you're struggling with, or there's a project that you're working on. A coach will walk the journey with you to really help you identify what do you really want and why is it important for you, and then walk you through the journey by identifying the goals that you need, you know, to kind of achieve as an individual. The coach will keep you accountable. And one of the, you know, skills of a coach is that they're very good listeners. You know, that is the one competency that is taught. You know, active listening, giving feedback. Because a lot of times we'll work on something and forget about it. If nobody, you know, reminds you
Yeah,
or
we'll
checks
set the
on
goals.
you.
At the
Yeah.
start of the year,
Yes.
you've gotten, like, you even compartmentalize them. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But if no one checks on,
Yeah.
if you don't check up,
Right.
it doesn't go anywhere.
And really challenging you because,
Yeah.
you know, challenging you to stretch and make sure that you deliver onto what you promised.
Yeah. So in 2014, you take this 8-day course to try and be certified as a professional coach. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so at which point, and at this time, you're also working as in the HR department at the second company.
Right.
You
At
said you
this,
called it SIT.
yeah, this time I had transitioned. I'd moved to Jubilee Insurance, where I was the group head of HR. So that's where I was at the time when I took up this.
Yeah. So as you're learning these new skill sets, are you trying to implement them in your current place of work, or are you also looking for other people with whom you can sort of explore the essence of coaching and professional coaching?
Yeah, that's a great question, because actually at the time I was doing it, I was so inspired and really seeing the transformation of power of coaching. I was in the process of developing a 3-year program, leadership program for the managers at the institution at the time, and coaching was one of the elements. So it was actually, you know, yes, for myself, because I needed to be fully certified and really understand this coaching business and how can you actually implement that, you know, within the organization, because I see it as a subset of leadership, and a great one at that, when it comes to influencing leadership skills, when it comes to performance management and leading teams. Yeah. So yeah, so that happened in 2014, and in fact that's at the time when I discovered ICF during the same course.
Okay.
I had no idea, you know, what ICF was all about.
Yeah. Oh, so what is ICF all about?
The International Coach Federation is the largest global organization that is a membership body, and it sets standards for professional coaching. Yeah, so at the time, the president of the Kenyan chapter actually came onto the course to introduce everybody else and welcomed us and invited us to join the membership. So that's how I found myself joining the membership and getting to learn.
During the course?
During the course. Immediately after the course, I went online and searched, read about ICF, and because I was already trained, I had the minimum of the 60 hours, I went on and became a member. And then I joined the local chapter, because there's a local chapter of the ICF, and that's how my journey began into this whole space.
Yeah, and ICF has been in existence for 25 years.
Absolutely, yes. It was founded in 1995.
Yeah.
So next year we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very exciting. We actually have a conference coming up in Prague, and this is some of the things we'll be celebrating. And just to answer your earlier question about what ICF really does, other than, you know, setting professional standards, ICF also is a thought leader in matters research as far as coaching is concerned. It accredits organizations to carry out training, and it also credentials individuals who've been certified. So then, you know, it issues certification as a credentialed coach, so to speak.